Straight ahead on 12 News, what's described as a boost for Brooklyn Center's tax base. We'll show you what a Twin Cities auto dealer has planned in the city. Plus, the big project that's expected to put thousands to work, what it could mean for a Maple Grove company. But first, a new survey on liquor brings in plenty of reaction. 12 News starts right now. The city of Brooklyn Park wants to know what residents think about liquor stores.
The city launched a survey this week to get input. Sonia Goins explains what's behind the questionnaire.
For the last 6 months or so, we've been doing studies of what other cities do for liquor regulations.
Now Brooklyn Park wants to hear from residents.
The response has been good. We were actually surprised within the first hour we had over 80 responses.
What do people think about liquor stores in the city?
No. There's enough liquor stores in Brooklyn Park, as a matter of fact, in other cities.
Brooklyn Park has 15 liquor stores, but with the city's current population, state law allows for up to 19. The red dots on the screen show where the current stores are located. 93rd Avenue is the dividing line. There are 12 liquor stores to the south and 3 to the north.
The reason we have 12 licenses south of 93rd is because a number of years ago the city council put a cap on that because they wanted to reserve some new licenses for the new development north of 93rd Avenue North.
The 4-question survey also asks if there's adequate access to liquor stores. The people we talk with say it's not hard to find places to buy adult beverages.
I don't really think there's a need for more just because I feel like there's enough probably within 5 minutes of my house that it's not a big deal.
Whenever I've had to go and get some beer or some liquor, I've always felt like I've been able to find a liquor store no problem. So I think there's enough as is.
Others say they're worried about criminal activity that's sometimes associated with liquor stores.
Well, it's going to bring more drama. Alcohol brings a lot of alcohol effects. Children, minors, cigarettes, them things brings down the community.
Our police department found that there were no ties to liquor licenses and increased crime.
But for some, the results of the survey really don't matter. They just don't want any more liquor stores, period.
For me, I think it's not good to have more liquor stores. I have the liquor tax.
His whiskey plates are a reminder of what can happen when you don't drink responsibly.
I don't want to have anybody have the same problem that I have. I've been sober for almost a year right now, and I feel good.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The survey is open until Friday. The City Council will look at the results on August 5th. It will then decide whether to make an ordinance that would limit licenses south of 93rd Avenue to 12.
A Brooklyn Park woman is accused of stealing thousands of dollars from a bank where she worked. 64-year-old Pamela Marshall is accused of stealing from the Wells Fargo branch on Zane Avenue in Brooklyn Park. The criminal complaint says Marshall admitted to taking money from her teller cash drawer. The amount missing was more than $14,000. Marshall had been an employee of Wells Fargo for 40 years. The complaint says Marshall admitted taking the money to help pay off a loan.
Maple Grove police have identified a suspect who they believe is responsible for vandalizing a church last weekend. On Monday, we showed you this surveillance video of a man throwing eggs at Pilgrims United Church of Christ in Maple Grove. Police say they got several tip calls after the story aired that helped them identify the man. He has not been taken into custody yet, pending further investigation. The church has been vandalized 3 other times this summer.
A new car dealership in Brooklyn Center will soon be built. Luther Automotive Group plans to build a new Volkswagen dealership where the old Honda dealership used to be on Brooklyn Boulevard. Work on the new 42,000 square foot building should start sometime next year. It'll be Luther's 5th dealership in Brooklyn Center, and one city council member says it will help stabilize the tax base.
We have something that is a great asset in our location, adjacent to the 694, and Luther has recognized that value and made tremendous investments here, and it'll bring a great number of jobs to the city.
The new Luther Honda dealership on Brooklyn Boulevard also has plans to expand. The city council is considering plans for 3 lots behind the dealership.
With its glassy design and its peaked roof, the new Vikings Stadium doesn't just have fans excited, it's also energizing to potential stadium builders. As Carissa Wyant reports, the lead contractor, Mortensen Construction of Golden Valley, has started the process of finding companies to assist with the enormous task of building it.
Stairs, railings, seating, stadia, technology.
If you build it, they will come. And come they did. An overflow crowd of prospective subcontractors packed a meeting in Minneapolis to learn more about the nearly $1 billion Vikings Stadium project.
Meetings like this tonight are very important to ensure that subcontractors have positive feelings about the project.
Among the subcontractors hoping to land a contract is Hanson Structural Precast.
We got a lot of experience in the Minnesota sports venue.
The Maple Grove Company has been in business since 1960 and won awards for their work on Target Field, TCF Bank Stadium, and Target Center before.
A job of this nature is pretty big for us. It would probably end up being a third to a quarter of our volume for 1 year. As far as jobs, it might provide 100 jobs.
Hanson makes huge pre-poured concrete pieces like beams and risers, which would comprise the superstructure of the stadium. They then transport and install them on site.
This is going to be the largest construction project in Minnesota outside of road construction, and I think that it's going to draw a big crowd.
The contracts are so large.
Mortensen plans to hire about 100 subcontractors who will break ground on October 1st and work to complete the project by July of 2016.
We're pretty excited about the Viking Stadium.
In the next few weeks, Mortensen plans to hold more meetings to recruit subcontractors in Rochester, Duluth, and Mankato. And Mike and Alex, state legislators have actually put some legislation in place that requires Mortensen hire a certain number of minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses.
And these contractors have good reason to be excited. It's
They
going
sure
to keep
do.
them busy for a while.
Sure is.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Krista. There is a $1 million building project underway in the Anoka-Hennepin School District designed to improve safety. All 27 of the district's elementary and early childhood buildings are getting a security upgrade with construction of a second set of doors at the main entry. Work is underway at Evergreen Park Elementary in Brooklyn Center. Visitors will have to sign in electronically before gaining access.
School security has always been on our mind, so we've got some systems in place. We predominantly have looked at the secondary buildings because that's typically where you see the problem or the concerns, but the elementaries became a concern after Sandy Hook, and it accelerated our thoughts on, well, maybe we should refocus. So we came and started looking again a little bit tighter at the elementaries and what can we do differently.
All the Anoka-Hennepin schools should be ready by the start of the school year.
Brooklyn Park will be the new home of one of Minnesota's oldest charter schools. New Visions Academy has plans to build a new 90,000 square foot building at the corner of 101st Avenue and Noble Parkway. The Brooklyn Park Planning Commission recently recommended approval. The school is now trying to work out a deal to buy the land from the owner, XL Energy.
They're hoping to start building as soon as they can, so sometime later this summer. They're hoping to be open by the start of the school year of 2014, fall of 2014.
The new school will be renamed the Athlos Leadership Academy. It will have a mind-body fitness curriculum. The new building could house up to 1,000 students. Well, coming up in Health Check, a timely message for those of you who spend lots of time outdoors.
What you can do to protect yourself against the West Nile virus. Then later in sports, a tip on how to hit iron shots better. That's in this week's Golf Tip.
But first, it's a check of your AccuWeather forecast.
Minnesota summers guarantee several things: humidity, the state fair, and the presence of mosquitoes.
No doubt, but those tiny bugs can pose some major health threats if you're not careful, thanks to the West Nile virus, as one Minnesota man has already discovered earlier this month. In today's Health Check, Delane Cleveland has more on how to protect yourself.
A trip outdoors offers a colorful glimpse of Mother Nature's various creations. Some beautiful, some essential, but when it comes to mosquitoes,
I hate them. Really mean things that suck your blood and make you itchy.
8-year-old Ada Cronin would know. She's covered with mosquito bites.
I have a bunch of scabs.
Same goes for her older brother, Skylar.
Not as much as her, but yeah, a lot.
According to officials from the Minnesota Department of Health, people have much more to worry about than bites and scabs.
The West Nile virus season is here. We're entering our high-risk season for West Nile virus, and so this is really the time of year when, if you haven't already been using mosquito repellent, certainly now is the time for everybody.
Repellents that contain up to 30% of the chemical DEET work well. Other effective alternatives include repellents you spray on your skin, such as oil of lemon and eucalyptus, and ones that include the chemical picaridin. There is also a clothing-only alternative that contains the chemical permethrin. Experts say it's especially important to wear those sprays if you're out at dawn and at dusk.
But certainly any time of day when you're out among mosquitoes, use mosquito repellent.
Skylar hasn't quite gotten that message.
No, not really.
His sister Ada claims she has.
I put mosquito spray on,
How often do you do that?
usually every night when I'm out.
State health officials hope people follow suit so others don't fall victim to mosquitoes carrying West Nile.
Every yard, every suburban area is different in terms of the landscape, and so there can be West Nile virus carrying mosquitoes in your backyard.
For Health Check, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
The health officials say the species of mosquito that transmits the virus to humans is most abundant in July and August. Something about that noise is just... Yeah, exactly. Coming up, a local band celebrating 50 years.
But first in sports, we meet a Plymouth man who competes and coaches in triathlons. John Jacobson is up next.
A second American Legion baseball team from the area has qualified for the state tournament that starts later this week. The Chester Bird team of Golden Valley, made up of Benilde St. Margaret's high school players, won the Sub-State 9 title, defeating Coon Rapids 14-3 on Monday. Coon Rapids had defeated the Birds Sunday to force a second game in the double elimination tournament. Chester Bird plays Eastview in their first state tournament game Friday morning at 9 at Braemar Field in Edina. And then Osseo will take on Mount Mead at 1 o'clock Friday afternoon at Chanhassen High School. On last week's Channel 12 golf tip, we heard about driving for distance. Now that we're out in the fairway, we could use some help with our iron shots. Here's this week's golf tip.
I'm Aaron Jacobson with the Rush Creek Golf Academy. Here with a tip today on hitting crisper, cleaner iron shots. Usually what I see is two things go wrong when people are hitting poor iron shots. One, as they're getting ready to hit the shot, they're not hitting the line. So what I'll do here, I'll put a golf ball down on this line. And what I see from students is stuff like this where they're taking divots well behind the golf ball, or they're taking swings and they don't even touch the ground. So they're going to get fat and thin shots. So we've drawn the line on the ground so you can determine where you're hitting the golf ball. See how I hit the line there? And I'll do it again. It's a great practice drill. If you can see your divots get out in front of the line, you're going to start to hit cleaner, crisper golf shots. So you might not have spray paint, and the golf pro might not want you to put spray paint down on the driving range, but you can utilize a tee, put a ball next to it, and then hit your golf shot and determine where your divots are happening on the ground. So take a divot in front of the golf ball, you'll hit cleaner, crisper iron shots.
Thanks, Aaron. Many triathletes train on their own, while others opt to use a coach. On this week's edition of his Give It a Try series, Jay Wilcox introduces us to a guy who knows the sport from both sides.
This week on Give It a Try, we meet a Plymouth man who is not only a strong competitor himself, but passes on his knowledge as a triathlon coach. For Nick Oswald, sports and staying active were a big part of his childhood in Wisconsin.
My parents put me outside and said, go run around in the woods, ride bikes. So from a really young age, kind of camping and hiking and biking, I started into basketball and football as young as I could start in Wisconsin. And from there, I continued playing basketball all through grade school. I picked up tennis, picked up baseball.
Nick started in triathlons 10 years ago as a high school senior and loved it, but not without some challenges.
I thought it'd be a lot easier than it actually is. So, I mean, I thought being active my entire youth, I could jump in and do pretty well. And, you know, it's a rude awakening the first time you do an open water swim of some kind with a group of your 900 best friends, and you're kind of playing football on the water where you can't stand on the ground, and you come out gasping for air, and then you've got to go pedal, and you've got to navigate the whole getting on new clothes, getting on different things to go biking, trying to figure out, is my heart rate supposed to be this high? Am I supposed to eat anything? Am I supposed to drink anything?
Oswald won his age group in a few tries and has competed in a handful of Ironman races, as well as endurance running races. A few years back, he doubled down on his triathlon involvement when he started coaching.
I was looking for an opportunity to kind of take everything that I'd learned over the years and start giving back a little bit. And a friend of mine had gotten involved with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and told me about a coaching opportunity they had with their fall team. So it's a really great experience being able to work with a lot of really new athletes who are asking questions, asking for tips, asking for different ways that they can get better.
Here's Nick's self-ratings on a 1 to 5 scale.
I'd put myself at probably a 2 or 3 swimming. I'm developing, so I'm working with a coach, trying to get better, starting to look at joining master's programs to try to work with some other athletes, because with coaching it's been really hard to do a consistent program. A 3 biking. I do okay on the bike, so I'd say I'm an above average cyclist, but I'm nowhere near the elite guys. And then a 4 running relative to my competition. So I feel the best running, so I'm usually in the top 10 to 15.
He comes from a coaching family, and Nick Oswald's faring pretty well as coach and competitor. For Give It a Try, Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
Oswald's getting set to compete in the Challenge Penticton Ironman distance triathlon in Canada in late August, and will also run in the Twin Cities Marathon. So good luck to him.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, John.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Finally, a golden opportunity for a golden anniversary.
Community Band is celebrating 50 years. They performed their final concert of the summer Monday night at Maple Grove's Town Green. That includes a song titled Golden Opportunity. Members of the band come from all over the metro, from Delano to Edina, and they range in age from 18 to 85. Anyone is welcome to join, even if they haven't played in years.
It's kind of like riding a bike. It comes back really fast. And that's what our group is for, is to encourage people to keep coming back and playing. Even though they might not have played for 5, 10, 20, 40 years, it works for me. As long as they can keep up with us in rehearsals and they're having fun, that's all we ask for.
The band actually includes 2 members that have been around since the band's inception. And that's all the news for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we leave you with more of the Brooklyn Community Band. We'll see you again tomorrow.